Welcome back from the club Topstep Beats. It's shoulder tap. You can tap along at home. I'm Jack, joined by risk manager Mick. Before we get started, Mick, I've seen people talk about the music in there. Andre, if you're on chat, check out on our sheet. There's a link to the Spotify list where James has been nice enough to put all those beats in case that's something you're interested in. Mick, how are you doing?
Hey, yeah, the tunes are pretty good. I'm doing well. Doing well. I got some good stuff to share today, so I'm upbeat. How are
Hmm.
you? Welcome back, cowboy.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty upbeat as well. Got to spend some time in the sun. I went to the Corn Ferry Golf Tournament this past weekend, Mick, in at the Glen Club, and it was so much fun. No one was
Oh,
there.
cool,
You could just
cool.
stand right behind them. So who
Really?
cares if
That's
they're
right
not?
right by where I grew up. I remember when they opened up that course. That's one of the best one of the best top ranked public courses in Illinois, if I remember correctly. But that's old news. I'm sure it hasn't changed too much though.
For sure. Anyway, great times all around. Who's been having a great time today and maybe not so great a time on the boards?
We've got a couple shout outs that I'm going to go over today. But as far as the great times, shout out to Ben, $5,200 in his live account trading the NASDAQ. We've got John G, who we've talked about a little bit lately. He's up 15 grand trading NASDAQ in his live account. NASDAQ and S&Ps, actually, I think. Nick for a tick, Nick T, up 1,600. Eddie, up 8,800. And then I'll save this for my last card. We got somebody who's up over $17,000 on the day today, making
Ooh,
new account balance highs. I talked about him last Wednesday, so we'll have a card for him. But I want to get into it, Jack. Before we
let's
do
do it.
pull up any of the trading cards, though, as far as traders who are up and down, we've got Coach Dakota. One of our number one traders here. He's a good trader. He's got a great eye for the markets. Although I will say his recent live account, we called him up from 5XFAs, relatively on the early side because we know he can take a lot of money out of the markets. We wanted to put him in a live account so that money got taken out of the markets and not out of pocket via, sim trading in the XFA. He's on a 5-day losing streak in his live account. He's hit his daily loss limit the first 5 days in the account. So 5-day losing streak, hitting daily loss limit. It's about a $16,000 losing streak. Not too worried about that per se, the 5-day losing streak or the $16,000 loss. But what I am concerned about is or more than a little bit, is, those losses with the account balance that he's had. And then more specifically, what he came into today with, $6,800 account balance. He was trading 10 lots. We know he trades larger size. We know we've expanded his daily loss limit for him and his past account that he had, gotten up over $250,000 in very short order. But a $6,800 trading account with a $3,000 daily loss limit, that's almost 50% of your account that you're allowed to lose in a day.
Mm-hmm.
While we allow for traders to do that, it's not the best practice to risk, close to 50% of your account. So on top of that, trading 10 lots on a $6,800 account, he hit his loss limit today, and with slippage on the 10 lot, he lost $3,500. So he went from a $6,800 balance to about a $3,300 balance, which gives him basically one more swing at the plate if he's going to be risking that. So why I'm bringing it up is, I'll be the first to say he's a good trader. Again, he's got a good eye for the markets, but I don't like how he's managing this account per se right now. And, for tomorrow, for the rest of the week, I certainly wouldn't want to see him risk $3,000 or be trading 10 lots. I think I'd like to see him grind it out. If he risks, $1,000 a day over the next few days, worst case scenario, he's going to get 3 swings at the plate like they do in the MLB. Lose 1,000, lose 1,000, lose 1,000. You
Mm-hmm.
still, have a few $100 to play with. But I don't know. I just wanted to make that mention because any great trader, any good trader, Dakota's a good trader. He's a great trader. That's up for, discussion. But he's taken a lot of money out of the markets and he's paid
Yes.
himself. He's lined his pockets. So I'm not knocking his abilities at all. But I don't like the money management here. And I just want to point that out because, for all of you out there viewing, great traders can go through losing streaks. Great traders still need to manage their money. So I don't want to get hung up on it too much. Jack, do you have anything to add, considering what I had shared here with Dakota?
No, I think it plays into the biggest piece of information I've noticed this entire time, that if there's one, I used to think overtrading was the biggest issue people face in this program, but I'm realizing in short order that it is risking too high a percentage of how much you're allowed to lose. That's overtaken, overtrading. They sometimes go hand in hand, but those would be my. I think that first one I mentioned is by far and away the biggest thing. Is who knows? We'll probably see that on some cards today.
Yeah, overtrading is a common issue. I've done it when we've done the ask a risk manager or anything segment. Like people ask, what is the single-handed most thing that's detrimental, or what do you see people doing wrong predominantly in their accounts? And I say it's just risking too much of the account that they have. So definitely aligned with you on the conclusions that we have there as far as what's bad for the traders. All right, let's move on. I got a trading card. This is a shoulder tap. So that was a shoulder tap for Dakota. I've got a shoulder tap for Jenilyn, one of our live traders. We've got a tombstone here. The account hasn't been closed, but after yesterday, there's $124 left in the account. So basically, Jenilyn is done, sadly. It's been a bumpy road for her. I was looking at the leaderboard, checking out the streaks and stuff like that. She's been trading in a 150K live account. 16 days she spent in that account, and I think that excludes today. I was just looking at the trade report, which posts after yesterday. Jack, this is a 10-day losing streak where she's lost $26,500 in 10 days. So, she flipped around a little bit in the beginning, but this is not what you want to be doing. I mentioned 26,500 losing streak over the 10 days. Her account balance high is about 27,000. So she kind of fluttered around that starting balance, and then over the first few days in the account, and then, has really just tanked the account. Daily loss limit, daily loss limit, daily loss limit.
This card is pretty tragic looking, to be honest.
It's really bad, and I'm showing it not to talk smack or put anybody on blast, but again, a learning experience. If you can have $27,000 in your account, and it sounds like a lot of money, but if you're risking $3,000 a day and you find yourself in a losing streak, it goes very, very quickly. Again, going back to what I was saying about Dakota, great traders and good traders, they find themselves in losing streaks. When you're in these losing streaks, you got to pump the brakes. You got to manage your money. 13% winning days, and 22% winning trades. Now, you got to be honest with yourself and stay on top of your metrics. And there's got to be little alarms that go off on the way. If you've got $100,000 in your trading account and you get to 75,000, an alarm has to go off. Oh, I'm down 25% or a quarter of my account balance. You get to the 50% mark, an alarm has to go off. What's going on here? What am I doing wrong? What adjustments can I make? And if those alarms aren't going off, your chances are you're going to be chasing and trying to get back to that account balance high or where you were before. Mm-hmm. That's a slippery slope because you start trading your account balance, you start trading your P&L, and it's just, it's deviating from what we're all here, and that's what we're all here for, and that's capital preservation. First and foremost, making money is, our second goal, even though it's why we're all here. So,
yeah. So, I have a lot of thoughts about this. First, unless I'm missing something, it seems like this person did not take a payout.
No, they haven't.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
they don't have the winning days to do it. There's only two winning days out of today was day 17.
Yeah. There's from a strategy perspective, folks. try and get those 5 winning days at least and take a payout. I'm trying to look here at the P&L highs if there were
That
opportunities. Yes, there were ample opportunities to do that, but
That's
I
pretty
think
good advice. Let me interject really quickly,
yeah,
Jack,
go
because I
ahead.
like that. I mean, I always talk about starting off slowly, trading smaller, risking less when you get going in your account. I think that what you just said, like get your 5 winning days, I think that should be a goal that people, add to the, trade small, risk less. Get those 5 winning days. I'll tell you, everybody here at TopStep would much rather see $10,000 in a payout that goes into your pocket than $10,000 that's donated to the live, the markets. Really, continue on. I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I see a number of days that ended up negative where she was flat and up, 4,500 or something. If you're in that position, I think, you know, I would I wouldn't lose more than half of that, or I wouldn't try to, but I would definitely maybe set it so I'm above that $200 and not, rack up those winning days. But I want to go back around to what we were talking about earlier when I said the number one thing we see is, you know, this is tough to look at. Wait, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, like eight. The final 8 days is it's what you described earlier, right? Where people are just kind of like dividing how much account they have left and taking swings with it. Um, but really, this person lost their max loss limit or very close to it for 8 straight days to end up where they are now. Um, maybe so. Like she was at 24,000. Okay, you can lose three then. But if you lose three, then you got to cut down how much you're losing. You can't just keep on losing 3K, especially at some point the account was 9K, other 3K loser, 6K, other 3K loser, 3K and 125 bucks, other 3K loser. That's just not money management that's going to be successful on any sort of meaningful time frame. And we'll see people, and I know how it is that sometimes we'll show traders that make a huge amount of money doing something. I mean, that'll happen occasionally, but it's not putting the stats in your favor here. So
Now,
definitely
gotta
a
be
percentage of your account is what you risk.
we got to be adapting and adjusting as things go on, and you have to be your own strongest, most honest critic too. I mean, I know that not a lot of our traders take a peek at the the trade reports, but they're there for a reason. I mean, Michael came up with what he wanted statistic wise, and everybody that's yourself, myself, Hogue, anybody that's got trading background here at Topstep has thought long and hard about the metrics that we put into these trade reports, and we want to keep them simple. We always encourage people to track their own metrics and whatnot, but you got to look at this stuff because you've said a couple times already now, Jack, this is hard to look at. Now, if it was, if you were Genelin, if you're the trader or anybody else who's looking at a tough trade report, like you have to be realistic and say, this isn't working. This doesn't look good. What am I going to do? Am I going to take a break? They have traded every single session that's been open since they've had this account. They're not taking any days off, no cooling off periods, and that's really something that's important to do. So, I wanted to share it for a number of reasons here, but yeah, this one's a bummer. This one's a bummer, especially
Yeah.
after the good trading in the XFA that we saw that we called them up to live with.
Well, I hope they're doing okay. I mean, this is a sad card to look at. So hopefully there's some learnings. But yeah, who else do you have?
All right, let's move to more uplifting things here, Jack. Let's pull up Matt S's card. Matt S in a live account. He's been with us for a long time, trading out of New Jersey. He's been with Topstep since 2016. Very familiar name to myself. He's been funded before, and I really like what I'm seeing here with his live account. He's been chipping away. Very happy to say that he's on what was a 6-day winning streak for $2,400. today's day 7 on the win streak, and he's up $1,100. So make it $3,500 win streak, and you know it's a nice streak. Everything I see here is kind of like chip away, chip away, chip away. I've seen Matt progress as he's been in our program, and I love seeing that he's kind of a low risk guy. He's not risking his full daily loss limit on these trading days. Looks like he's hitting singles. He's trading a little bit smaller than he can.
This is a
These are all
very
recipes
interesting
for
card.
success. Yeah, it's a great one. I mean, you think about it, that average daily P&L, $200 a day. We all know it's pretty easy to make or lose 4 figures a day trading leverage futures contracts, but, you know, small wins add up over time. And at, $200 a day on average, he's making $1,000 every week. Think about what that is at the end of the year if he just continues on this path. And, with 79% winning days, 70% winning trades, all this stuff is scalable. He's trading smaller than he can, but if he can maintain these metrics, and it's only day 14 for him, day 15 in the live account today, if he's seen similar statistics like that after 2 months of trading or something, I would think, as long as he's comfortable with it, he goes from 1s and 2s to 2s and 4s. Now we're talking about a net P&L that should be, double what you're seeing here on the trading card.
Yeah, I mean, so have you talked to Matt?
I've talked to Matt a lot over the years, but I have not spoken to him about this live account in particular. I don't, other than, giving him a shout out here or, a pat on the back as opposed to a shoulder tap. I mean, this is kind of the trading that as long as he keeps this up, I don't need to contact him. I don't need to worry about him. He's
Yeah, it
managing his
almost
risk and he's consistently profitable.
exactly. It almost feels. I mean, I was wondering if he's using an algo.
What
Just
makes you say that?
because the thing that jumps out at this card and makes me think it is he's taking a decent amount of trades, but he's in a live account. All right, his hold times for both winners and losers are incredibly short. Right,
Yeah.
they're under a minute. Okay. Um, I have not seen people, in my experience, be super successful trading like that in the live markets. So this is no game in the system or whatever. He's in the live markets, so this is the real deal. I'm very impressed that some of these days, 14-second, 18 seconds. It's like he never holds a trade for more than a minute.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, it's a short time frame, short hold time. I'm glad you brought it up, but this type of activity in the win rates is tough to maintain when you're trading on a short time frame, in my opinion, and especially with the number of trades, averaging 26 trades per day. What he's doing right now is working for him in this current market environment. And he's
It's an
had,
awesome card.
yes, yeah, it's a great card. Yesterday was a big day for him. I think something that I can't help but think about, as we've had over the last 2 weeks, some pretty big downside moves and wide ranges in these equities. These are kind
Mm-hmm.
of, the warm waters where someone who might be, looking to take small profits and stuff like that, who knows what these days could have been if they held something for longer than a minute when they, got the tiger by the tail, if they get a good entry and let it, ride out a little bit.
Yeah, this is
I'm not saying
awesome
for him to
trading,
change
Matt.
anything though.
Yeah, keep on keeping on. Size up if this keeps up. Also, Mick, as long as we were discussing it, I saw some people ask, and I honestly don't know. It's been a while. What is the Topstep policy on algo trading? Is that something you can do, or do you have to like check with you guys? Or
Yeah, so in a live account, I mean, I think a lot of people have a misconception about automated trading. Most of the people I've spoken to, when it comes to automated trading, they believe that the the ATM strategies on NinjaTrader or like bracket orders is automated trading. We are okay with that, but that's kind of a level of sophistication that you don't normally see on the retail side. As far as using automation in a live account, we ask that we see what you're doing so we can understand it. And, if approved, then it's approved. So that
Okay.
really isn't something that pops up, very often whatsoever. Most of our, 99.9999999% of the people here are just discretionary trading with no automation. We've seen it before. I've approved it before. I don't think there's ever been any automation that I've denied, but it's actually become less and less of a thing over the years, surprisingly.
Well, who knows? The future is robots, I hear. Well, this was an awesome card. Do we have a third today, or was it just the discussion about
We've got
Dakota?
we've got a third one I want to squeeze in. I know we're low on time, but I can do this in a few minutes. I want to pull up Kai Chung's card. Kai Chung, excuse me. I spoke about him last Wednesday, and I didn't exactly have the most favorable things to say about him. He was not trading too well in the account. But I'm happy to say that, he's the guy that I mentioned earlier that is having that $17,000 winning day today. So he's making new account balance highs in his account, up 17,000, and he's doing really well. So this average daily P&L is going to get wildly changed because it's only been 20 days in the account, and he's in a 50K account. So, 90% of the time he's
Mm-hmm.
hitting that $10,000 daily loss limit. He has had, another big winning day of, I think $5,100. It looks like average losing day 1,050. But today he knocked it out of the park, and I think that's what he's been looking for. And I actually want to go back to something that I shared an opinion last week where I said, I don't think that he's in the right account size for the hold times. So he's in the 50K account, $1,000 daily loss limit.
And
I
boy, does
was
he use it.
thinking, yeah, he uses it, but he's got these long hold times, and I was thinking, he's getting stopped out at $1,000. Maybe if he's trading small as he is, which is ones and twos, um, why wouldn't he go to a larger account size to give himself a little bit more room? And, fast forward from last Wednesday to today, and he puts up a $17,000 winning day and has, new account balance highs in his account. I'm like, well, maybe he's in the right account size if he's, keeping it to 1,000 because, all those daily loss limit days, if they were, more than 1,000 at 2,000 or 3,000, maybe he wouldn't have been around in the account to actually, pounce on the trade opportunities that he saw today that, got him to the new account balance highs. So I kind of changed my mind there based off of what I saw today. And it's okay. I can change my mind. I'm not always, 100% right. I just call it how I see it at the time. Um,
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him. He is very adept at using that $1,000 loss limit, but if the winners are somewhat frequently where you can make, he's an $8,000 day and now a 17. I mean, if you can do 17 times your loss limit, it buys you a lot of rope, and what you choose to do with that rope is yours. For big
yes,
boys and big
absolutely.
girls.
A lot of
Yes.
ropes. So if you can put up a $17,000 winning day and you're only risking $1,000 every day, that buys you 17 swings at the plate. Kind of to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier.
Well, Mick, we're just about out of time. Thanks for sharing all this with us. We got plenty of more Topstep TV on deck.